DonBest.com. What you need to win.
Thank you for watching DonBest.com. I'm Frank Trigg. That's Nick Kalikas. We're getting ready to cover the UFC on Fox number 8, Johnson versus Moraga, the championship title fight. Co-main event is Jake Ellenberger, Rory MacDonald. Jake Ellenberger, great wrestler, great stand-up. He's got incredible ability for ground and pound. Rory MacDonald, though, is being hailed as the next GSP. Nick Kalikas, is Rory MacDonald the next GSP?
Man, hard to argue as far as pure talent goes. The guy's such a well-rounded fighter, and he excels above average in almost every area. So I can see the comparisons for sure, but it's going to be hard to mock GSP.
The GSP cleaned out the division twice. He's run the gamut on everybody. To be compared to GSP should be an honor for Roy. I just don't see it. I don't see him catching up to GSP's mark and being at that level because the game has changed so much, and there's so much more talent out there now than it has been. I really don't see Roy getting out of this fight. I think Jake Ellenberger wins this fight once he gets him down to the ground, and if Jake can pass guard and get the half guard. If he decides to sit in guard, Roy MacDonald's going to be able to beat him up and get back up to his feet again because he's excellent from the bottom. Who's the line? Which way is the best way to bet? I'm definitely laying my money on Jake, but is he the favorite or the dog in this one?
Well, then you're going to like the line. Right now he's plus 190, so the favorite is Rory. He's coming in minus 240. I do think the line's a little bit high. I mean, you got two of the best welterweights going at it, so I think a little bit under 2-1. The line is a little fairly more accurate. But that being said, the better fighter on the feet is Rory. The better fighter on the ground is Rory. So he's got the advantages in this fight, no doubt. The problem is, my concern here is Jake's knockout power, man. He's going to want to keep this fight on the feet. He could probably do that because his wrestling is legit, like you said, as well. And if he lands on Rory, he's been rocked before. I think he could maybe possibly put him out. So that's why it's hard to lay that 240. But I do think that Rory is the better fighter, and more times than not, he should win this fight.
The thing with Jake is he has great cardio positioning. He always comes in amazing shape, but he uses a lot of power on every single punch, every single takedown, and when he ground and pounds, he uses a lot of energy. Roy comes in great shape too, but he never really uses a lot of power, so he tends to have more shape later. He's able to have a lot more cardio later in the fight. It worries me as his fights, if it's very, very close, getting late into the later rounds, I think it might sneak by that Roy could actually pull off a close decision win if he can maintain it through the first and second round. We all know that Jake's coming out hard and heavy. He has changed his style a little bit. We saw with Martin Kampmann and with Jay Haran. He changed his game a little bit. He backed off a little bit. He's not going out as hard and as heavy. He lost to Martin Kampmann, but he beat Jay Haran, and that style's now starting to come a little bit better for Jake, where he starts off a little bit slower. I don't know if that's going to bid him very well against Roy MacDonald. Starting off slowly against Roy is going to actually cause him problems. Do you agree, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, Rory, again, he's so talented offensively. Defensively, he still has to work on that a little bit, but yeah, offensively, he could be in some major trouble because Rory could put it on you anywhere in the fight game.
All right, moving on to the main event, John Moraga versus Demetrius DJ Johnson. The champion is DJ Johnson. Comes to MMA record 13-1, 6 wins via sub. That's Moraga. Johnson, MMA record 17-2, and 8 wins via decision. Obviously, Mighty Mouse knows how to go the distance. And Moraga has been kind of off everybody's radar. No one's really paying attention to him that much. But I think DJ wins this fight relatively easy, even though Moraga's been kind of on a tear as of late. What am I missing, and what does the betting public not know about Moraga at this time?
Well, right now it's a steep line, though, minus 450, so not an easy one to bet. The comeback on Moraga is plus 350. A lot of that has to do with the betting public. They don't know much about him, as you just said. So the guy's a very talented fighter. Again, another guy that's got a wrestling base. He's got a decent submission game. He's got knockout power in the feet. If you look at his record, I believe he only has 2 knockouts on there. He's got way more power than that indicates, so you can't always go by that stuff. He's going to look to keep this fight on the feet and probably land and try to knock out Demetrius Johnson. But DJ, man, I mean, he's been, again, even though the flyweight division is fairly new to the UFC, the guy's been in there with some of the best, even in the heavier division. So the guy, in my opinion, was made to be the flyweight champion. I think he's going to keep his title here because he's simply a little bit better in every area than Moraga, other than maybe the power punching. I mean, you got to give that advantage to Moraga as well, but I think that's probably his only shot to win this fight is landing that knockout punch. So against a puncher chance, you got to go with DJ.
All right, well, I'm laying my money on Ellenberger, obviously, because he's the dog. I'm picking DJ to win this fight, but he's the favorite, and the line is way too steep for me, so I'm leaving this one alone. Am I right in those 2 bets?
Well, again, I really like Moraga. He's made me some money in the past, but again, this fight I'm going to lay off him. So, yeah, I think so. I like DJ, and I'm leaning towards Rory. I can't really confidently bet it straight, though. But, again, maybe a 2-team parlay.
If I was going to do a 2-team parlay, what would I pick on both sides? Take both favorites or both dogs?
Yeah, I would take both favorites. I mean, if you're taking both dogs as a 2-team parlay, I don't think there's good value there at all because both favorites should come through. At least one would. If you lose the parlay, then obviously if one loses, you lose. So there is some definite risk there. But if I was going to parlay these 2 together, it would be both faves.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's Nick Kalikas. I'm Frank Trigg. You're watching DonBest.com. We'll see you again next time.